We are heading into the holidays, and so many of us live day to day in overwhelm, which is often overscheduled. And heading into the holidays, sometimes that alone just brings thoughts of terror to us because we're like, I can barely handle my day to day life. How am I going to handle the holidays? And I use the term holidays to describe the upcoming couple of weeks, regardless of what you celebrate or how you celebrate. I'm using the term holidays just kind of like for celebration. And it's really funny because I saw on Facebook, I actually shared it, what do they call it, a meme, where there's a picture of the fella and it says, I am not going to overdo the holidays this year. And then the next thing is, me after having a couple cups of coffee, I'm going to raise my own turkeys for Thanksgiving. And I just cracked up at that because, well, first of all, I don't drink coffee, but I do drink a lot of tea. And I'm never going to raise my own turkeys. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I understand that because I tend to throw myself into something 1,000%. And I get great joy out of that, but I also sometimes overdo it and kind of wear myself out. One thing that seriously wears me out is when somebody else goes, oh, Kimberly, slow down. Please slow down. That kills me. It's like sucks the life out of me. Now, having somebody recognize that I'm doing too much and mentioning that to me, that's okay. But just the blanket statement of, oh, just slow down. Please don't overdo it when they don't really know how I'm wired and they don't really know what feeds me and they don't really know the joy that I get from staying occupied, from my mind going from place to place. Sometimes it brings me joy. Other times it can be a little overwhelming. I've learned how to acknowledge that. And I do appreciate when people point it out, but I guess it's the blanket statement of slow down that kind of kills me. So, what I invite you to think of is what is overwhelm or overdoing it or overscheduled or overtasked or stretched too thin? What does that mean to you? Does it mean that you are not getting things done? Or does it mean that you're not enjoying the process? Does it mean that you feel like you're just checking things off the list, but you're not actually present? I mean, what does it mean to you? Because it's important to know what overwhelm, overschedule, too much, etc. What does that actually mean to you? Because you might not have to change what you're doing. You might have to change how you think about it. You might not have to take things off your list or put things on your list. You might have to say, oh, I'm only going to do one thing at a time, or I'm going to finish something, or you're going to say, I'm going to give myself permission to not do stuff that's on my list, or I'm going to give myself permission to enjoy all of this. So, it might not be that you're overwhelmed. It might be that you're doing too much. It might be that you're not telling yourself the truth about what you're doing. You might love it. It might be your favorite time of the year. You might look forward to this. You might love the excuse to have a messy house, to have receipts laying everywhere, to have half-eaten cookies on the counter. Who knows? You might like that. Others of you, you might say, I'm not ever doing another cookie exchange. I'm not buying gifts this year. I'm not doing any of that. But do it for your reasons. Do it for the right reasons, not my reasons, not what I'm saying is right, but do it for the reasons that you feel comfortable when you tell yourself those reasons. It all goes back to the story that you're telling yourself. It all goes back to, are you asking yourself questions? Are you asking yourself the right question? Are you listening to your answers? Do you actually have time to breathe? Do you have time to do the things that restore you? Not what restore me, not what restore somebody else, but what restores you. So I have thrown a lot of questions at you. I've thrown a lot of information at you. So hopefully it doesn't overwhelm you. Hopefully it just gives you some things to think about. Be picky, be choosy, be careful, but really think about what you're doing, what you're feeling. Look at the circumstance. Look at your thoughts of that circumstance. I always go back to the question of, is it true? So for me to say something like, oh, I just can't do anything else, is that true? Maybe, maybe not. How about for yourself? My end goal of all these questions that you ask yourself, all the thoughts that you examine, all the feelings that you examine, all the actions that you look at, all the results that you examine, my my goal for you is that you find grace and joy, especially in the upcoming season. Well, the one that's happening right now, actually. You know, find what is joyful to you. Find what matters to you. Even if this is a very inherently difficult time for you, the holidays are not easy for many, many people, but find something that sparks you. Find something that calms you. Find something that gives you joy. So, I am Kimberly Stratman, To The Point Coach. I'm a certified life coach for high performing women. I also help mainly first responders retire with confidence. My goal is that each of us stop fighting everything out there and we find a way to get through our lives with more grace and more joy, accepting of ourselves, tweaking what has to be tweaked, and move on. Please like this video, subscribe to this channel. I would love to hear from you. Tell me what you think about overwhelm. What do you think about your lists of things that you should do? Should. You can tell I don't like that word very much. Find the joy in your day and share it. Love to hear from you. Thank you so much and stay safe.